to set up properly. That's like there we go. Yeah, we are now live. Well, the music playing. Now I can like post like on Discord. We are live.
All right, we are live, and I am joined by basically a Scottish wizard.
Yeah, pretty much. I just would say like a
Jonathan has
geez.
gone full beard, loose hair, no hat, Scottish wizard.
And we have a blank screen of like John Brockman. Does the audiences? Oh, the audience is able to see the cat, but I'm not. Okay.
Okay, yeah, the cat is. Oh, it's responding to my voice. It's not going to respond when I bob my head because OBS stole the camera before Zoom could get it.
I see. But yeah. So welcome, lasses and NB badasses. Hold on, I didn't have the chat up. There we go. But like, I think everyone's going to like filter in soon enough as well too, because I'm sharing the links to all the discourse now. It's already up to out to like all my social medias. But like, yeah. So, it's actually almost at this point, it's just like, are we going to have a show? Because like, yeah, last week we didn't.
Yeah, well, last week a hurricane parked itself over the Carolinas and
Yep.
did a whole lot of shit. And we'll wait
Yes.
until 250 because Isaiah wants to hear that story. And so we'll
Okay,
wait for
that's
him to
right.
show up.
Yeah, so yeah, but that's basically the short version of like why there was like no like show last week. You didn't have power to do the show last week.
hmm I was sat in the dark trying to charge up my cell phone
Hmm.
because I need my phone to work and I didn't have electricity, so that was a problem.
Yes.
But again,
Uh,
that will have to wait until Isaiah.
True. Yeah, yeah. So the full story is that. As for me, who's currently looking at a thing like Jesus, but I prefer Scottish Wizard over Jesus for sure.
That's because
He's on.
Scottish wizards probably didn't rape children.
Oh,
Maybe.
that's true. Well,
Well,
no, did
Jesus might not have raped children, but a lot of people have raped
okay,
children
okay.
in his name.
Okay, yeah. Agree with you there. In his name, a lot of people have like raped children as well too. I was about
And
to
they
say,
just can't seem to
what?
stop. It's like they
Mm,
really just want to fuck kids. But
yeah.
to be fair, it's not just the Christians. It's anyone
Right.
with any kind of power.
True.
Buddhist monks, they pass those little boys around like party favors.
Naturally, this part of me that is not surprising. But again, like any with any kind of position of power, and like this actually was mentioned yesterday on the stream I did with like Old McDonald, Aslan Rollins, and like a Space Cat. That like Aslan did mention that like it's not necessarily the religious thing, but it's the fact that like a priest is a community leader as well too,
Mm-hmm.
so they have a position of power to.
Unquestionable authority.
Yes,
Because
exactly,
they
exactly.
talk to the invisible wizard who lives in the sky.
Yes, exactly. Hey, which is generally an old white man with a beard or something like that. Why?
Definitely a man. The Bible always
Yes.
refers to God with he, him pronouns, even in
Hmm.
the ancient Hebrew and Greek and whatnot.
Yeah. But yeah, invisible man in the sky, a wizard, invisible wizard in the sky. Again, fictional characters of like what the superpowers I want from fictional characters. God will be up there. The Abrahamic God we're talking about as well too. Then again, the Greek gods. Oh, now I'm thinking about those scandals.
Okay, you misspelled scandal in a way that I kind of love because I'm thinking there's a candle that's somehow also a scandal.
Welcome in, Joe McClory. Which reminds me that like there's the like Netflix like live action like Avatar: The Last Airbender show. Still have not watched. I don't have Netflix
Why?
now.
I know why they do it, but why?
Well,
Why would no?
well, okay. What I personally dislike a lot. It's just like some people would not take I imagine that there's very few people. It's only older generation that think this way. But some people won't take like a show or property seriously if it's animated. That's it. So
Yeah.
they'll finally watch something if it's like live action as well too. Again, you and I and like Joe and like people of our generation probably do not have that like mindset as well too. But like maybe older people like I don't know, I have to like survey people on that. But it's just like I do get a sense that like in some people it is like only a only some people of older generation that don't take something seriously as animated. So that's why live action. But also they were just going to remake things 20 years from now. They
Yep.
just like every 20 years they're going to like remake things
Hey,
because
look,
what?
we just renewed our copyright.
Yes, exactly. Hello Metro, how are you doing? And Disney is a perfect like an example that they're always going to like fucking do that as well too. Um so what has happened so Mr. Ochoa Glory and John Brockman, what has happened in the last 2 weeks? And yeah, we'll like save the like hurricane story for like
That's
future.
pretty much the only story I've got. um,
Uh
I
yeah.
mean, I've been work. Oh, actually, no, I can tell a story.
Mhm.
Last night I got my first kind of perv.
Perv?
Uh,
What?
Somebody who hit on me in a way that was weird and creepy.
Okay.
And a year and like 4 months now. That's so 16 months now working. I have had one person ask me inside for sex, and one person hit on me
Hmm.
in a creepy way. The
Uh
person who asked me inside for sex, she was very drunk,
I see. Yeah.
and she had just gotten off the phone with her fuck buddy, who did not take her up on her offer of incredibly drunk sex and instead elected to stay home and play video games. And
Mm.
that's when she invited me inside for drinks, and I pretended to misunderstand, said, "No thanks, I've got my water," and continued doing my job.
Mm-hmm.
But this guy, I picked him up outside a post office at about 3 o'clock in the morning. He was wearing some sort of sweatpants, I think, and a sort of pink top. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
really a shirt, it was more like a bathing suit.
Mm-hmm.
But he was perfectly fine until he got out of my car, at which point I said, "Hey, you want to touch it?" "What? You want to touch it?" "What? You want to touch my ass?" "No, fuck off." And then I drove away. And then I made it a point to change his rating down to a 1 star and say that he was acting inappropriately.
Yeah, yeah. It is interesting how like with those star ratings, most people would just go like 5 or 1 and no very little in between.
Yeah,
So it's just
there's not much point to do anything else. I mean,
mm.
and like what the fuck is a 4 star versus a 5 star? It's like they made mouth noises.
I mean, okay, hey, as someone that was has like done 12 videos on like movie reviews. Now, then again, I didn't get a star rating, but I can understand doing the star rating, and like also someone who's
If you
like
have
better
a
on.
long term, if there's an established scale, if they gave us guidelines, and there
Yeah,
could be a way to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars. It's just
yeah,
they don't.
yeah. Most people don't anyway. They will only post a review. Most of the times, they only will post like Yelp reviews, is only that if they hate like the establishment or their experience at the establishment. So it's like most Yelp
Yep.
reviews probably are
Yep.
1 star. It's
Yep.
the same with like Amazon like product reviews.
Yeah.
Um,
And Kirok, no, he was not asking for consent. He waited until he was outside of the car so that he could be a perv.
yeah.
It's
So
like the person who like asks you for shit on Facebook Messenger isn't actually asking. They're
yeah,
harassing.
yeah. Thankfully, I only had like one kind of the case where it's just like I just did not like continue to interact with this person and like Twitch whispers as well, but they seem to be a little really hot about me as thinking I'm hot as well too. I just didn't know how to react to that and like didn't continue the conversation. And thankfully, that was it because like I
Yeah.
didn't continue the conversation and like
Mm-hmm.
there wasn't anything else afterwards.
Oh, Mithril is
Uh,
applying for a job as a Senegalese man.
oh, nice.
No, signal man. Not he can't apply to be African.
Is no, we still don't have like streams for like every
Steam for
train.
everyday trains.
Steam.
Wouldn't surprise me if England still had steam trains though,
Yeah.
because you still have England. If you're gonna go with
uh
19th century racist bullshit, you might as well go all the way.
Yes, and Metro Kenda talk about like the 19th century bullshit of England as well too, and the racism and white supremacy of all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Though they did
Uh,
kick out the Tories a few months back. A
they
little bit.
did now. Well, yeah, but now now
So they
depending
got
on
a
who you get.
lighter, softer kind of racism.
Yes, exactly. It's still very imperialist and it's still like white supremacist as well too, but slightly less of that now with the
They're
like
friendlier Klansmen.
yes, exactly. As much like with the
Actually,
press
no, they
now.
don't have Klansmen there. They have people who like Winston Churchill.
Yes, loyalists.
Royalists. People who read the Daily
Yes.
Sun. The
Yes.
Daily Mail. That's the one I'm going
Yeah. I forgot what you called that. Just like labor has proven to just be bloody awful. I
for.
agree. It's
I
just
am
like,
not surprised. They kicked out Corbyn and made up
mhm.
anti Semitic bullshit about him.
Yes, exactly. It still have not solved the problem of anti-Semitism in the party as well too.
Mm-hmm. They're just like the
Definitely not.
Democrats in that way.
Yeah, exactly.
You
It's
get
just like,
anyone who's actually leftist, they will
mhm.
attack.
Yeah, Cory Bush and like Jamel Bowman was like very open and critical of like Israel, and then they
Mm.
got primary out, and so they're not even up for election in their districts on for the general this like coming months. The Daily Hail is what I call it. Daily Hail, excellent.
Oh,
Yes,
Daily
that's the
Heil, nice.
Hail. Yes.
uh,
Mm. But like that's there's so law Islamophobia in like the Labor Party. I'm sure, yes, you could probably get more Islamophobia in like the Tories as well too, but just kind of like it's still Islamophobia
yeah,
in the
I
Labor
mean,
Party.
it's like the Republicans and the Democrats are both going to support Israel. It's just that the
Yes.
Republicans are going to have erections while they kill Palestinians.
Yes, or Lebanese now because like that's what has happened in the last 2 weeks. Israel has done a kind of coordinated attack in like Lebanon by just sending off a bunch of pagers and like cell phones to blow up. And it doesn't they were planning to target Hezbollah like leaders, and they actually did kill some Hezbollah leaders in the strike, I believe. But like this is Israel, so they don't care about collateral damage, or because like they're probably also just attacking Lebanese people as well as Hezbollah. And so yeah, even just like children were playing with the pagers, and yes, believe it or not, there are some people that still use pagers in like places in around the world. Well, poor countries as well as you can
Well, that's
imagine.
because it doesn't require a constant connection with the tower.
Right, and also this was the cover on It Can Happen Here that like no Hezbollah does have some like paranoia about like them or Israel or other like factions listening in on their conversations, why which is why they also use pagers as well too. So it is economical as well as like ComSac as well too, or wherever it is. And but no, a lot of pagers like blew up, and I think like the last I if I remember correctly, Israel was like sending troops into like Lebanon. And again, their official statement is that they're attacking Hezbollah. But I think we know what their official statement is about like Hamas and what they're doing in the Gaza Strip as well too, and continually doing the Gaza Strip. It's just like they're bombing the black and brown people around them as well too, and want to go to a war with Iran. I think honestly, which is
I think that's what the U.S. would like them to do.
yeah.
We need another proxy war. I mean, it's like Vietnam and Afghanistan went so
Hmm.
well for us.
Yeah, Iraq too. Mission accomplished. It's so and because Benjamin Netanyahu still does not want like any like elections to happen or be tried for like or be on trial for like his like obvious like corruption crimes. So still he's like dragging out like this war, it's a genocide, on the Palestinian people, and now he's like also including the Lebanese people by attacking Hezbollah. Again, stated goal. I think officially they just want to like have a war with Lebanon, if you ask me. Yet still like Biden is still like let's like at least Israel off the hook. In I think Kamala Harris is not saying and Jim Walz are not saying much on like Israel right now. So both sides in it. So saying well, it's sad of what's happening to the Palestinian people. It's awful, it's terrible. But Israel has the right to defend themselves. I think they just want to like not have like a statement or like be like they have a firm policy about that sort of thing until after the election. I honestly think that like they're still going to support Israel. I
Oh
think,
yeah,
yeah,
Israel is full. Israel is fulfilling its purpose by destabilizing the Middle East and making oil cheaper.
true.
That's all they
Yes.
exist for, according
Hmm.
to U.S. foreign policy.
Yeah.
According to Zionists, it's bigotry all the way down.
Yes.
So there are multiple reasons to hate Israel.
Mhm.
One is because of empire, the other is because of genocide and
Yeah.
bigotry.
Hmm. So it's like, and I curious. I remember back months ago. Actually, this is when like just the genocide in like Palestine was going around. It's like, dude, yeah, and Hamas. Yeah, I'm not gonna say Hamas are angels or anything like that because like I can't excuse like the October 7th attack for sure. And probably they have done some other things too. But Hezbollah, I just like I need to research more about Hezbollah. But I also don't trust liberals when they say that like Hezbollah are the enemies as well too, because like, well, I mean, if we go by U.S. governments as well too, yeah, I'm sure like they will say Hezbollah is a terrorist organization, but I'm not saying that's a inaccurate statement. But they said that like the ANCN and like Nelson Mandela were terrorists too. So it's just like and it wasn't until 2008 to like Nelson Mandela was finally taken off the terrorist watch list by the UN. So it's just like, are we do liberals say that like we're supposed to be against Hezbollah because like they're the enemy of the United States of America or the United States of America government? Uh, but again, I'll want to research more and maybe they have done some awful things that I can't like excuse for. So there's that. But it's more or less I'm not going to trust like liberal sources on that sort of thing. So if anyone got some like sources I can look up for like to try to get as much unbiased opinion on Hezbollah as I can, I'm welcome to that.
Palestinian Twitter.
Probably, yeah, honestly.
That's probably the best you can. Well, not Twitter, but
Hmm.
whatever is your replacement for Twitter. Blue Sky, Mastodon,
Yeah,
Twitch,
yeah.
Instagram.
Definitely like Lebanese voices, Palestinian voices. I want to know from them because like if they also don't like trust like parts of Hamas or parts of Hezbollah, I'll believe them. I'll trust them as well too because they are again is the Lebanese people and then definitely Palestinian people that are one that are really under attack and under like genocide right now. Um, but yeah, there was also there's also was a debate last week, last Tuesday as well too.
Who
But
cares?
it's the VP debate. It's just like we're not voting for like those two mostly. It's just
It's
like
the
yeah, it's
Klansman versus the friendly Klansman. Who cares?
yeah. It's the white supremacist versus the white moderate.
Yep, yep,
Um,
yep, yep, yep.
but like I did listen to It Can Happen Here's like review basically of like that debate where it's like why is Tim Walz being like more polite or more like cordial this time? He was good at like a hold on Mansfield says Hezbollah was established by Lebanese clerics primarily to fight the 1982 like Israel invasion of Lebanon. 15 it's adopted the model set of by Alter Khamenei after the Iranian
Ayatollah Khomeini.
total comedic. Sorry. Again, I'm dyslexic, so when I see a word I don't know how to pronounce, I will struggle. At the Iranian Revolution,
Also,
1979.
you're a
Okay,
young boy.
but yes, yeah. True.
You
I
haven't
don't
heard.
remember.
I didn't. We didn't start the fire as many times as I have.
True. Which I think Billy Joel doesn't like that song that much because musically it really is not that interesting.
No, no. But it does lend itself well to updates and expansion. It's,
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah.
the only song with expansion packs.
But no, it's very true. Life has always been burned since the world been torn because it's always been between powerful like entities or like states, as it were, too. There's always going to be like things like that that are competing against each other, especially when like they want this person wants power, this
Mm,
person wants power, and like just like on the capitalism as well too. How can a corporation
mm.
like grow? Eventually, it has to absorb other like
Yep.
companies or corporations.
Everything wants to be a monopoly.
Yes, exactly. Um, is which is like it. like Kirok said, of like how and like his idea of like what do you mean not everything, Kirok?
Okay,
Um,
your mom doesn't want to be a monopoly. Your mom's corporation, nation, and church want to be a monopoly.
it's because like if every small business and corporation wants to grow, then they have to like grow to a point. Something. Well, yeah, we're talking about corporations, not people,
Yeah,
because
that's
despite
what I
this,
was trying to clarify toward is that
yeah,
once you have institutions, they
yes.
expand to fill the available space.
Yes, exactly. Which is why we are against such institutions,
And some
especially.
people are assholes, but some people, I think a
Mhm,
lot of people just want to get by and be
mhm,
okay.
yeah,
And I think the real difference between like rural and urban is that in a city, you encounter a lot of people and it makes you learn how to get along with people. It makes you kind.
true.
In a
Hmm.
rural setting, you don't encounter people, and so you get to be a bigot. You get away with that shit.
No, yeah, you get to get away with being that big and somewhere like that. And I don't know how true this is in like rural places in the USA, but like in some like rural towns, so like heavily Christianized and like
Mm.
so devoted to the church that like they'll be like at a school, so a public school where it's supposed to be separation in church and state, big giant Jesus painting, that's where too. And if one atheist that kind of like finally outs himself as an atheist said, "Is this like appropriate to have at a public school, a government building, as were
Mm-hmm.
too?" And then like at least from this guy's story from like years ago, he got shunned by the entire town by speaking out against like Christianity
Yeah.
as well too.
Like, say you're a plumber in a small town. They find out you're an atheist. You might only
Mm,
lose 5% of your business, but that 5% is going to put you in the red, and you're going to lose your business. You're going to lose your home. You're going to have to move away.
mhm,
So everyone has to conform. And in a small town, very likely it's the same 10 families have been living there for 200 years.
true.
They're they get a immigrant, and suddenly that changes the makeup. That changes the genetics of the town. Um,
Hmm.
and no, if you have one store, Kirok, you're not rich. You're part of the petite bourgeoisie
Hmm.
because you have to work, but you also own the means of production.
Yeah.
You're
If you're
kind of part of the bourgeoisie, but you don't have enough in common with the bourgeoisie. You're somewhere in between the bourgeoisie and the working class there. You have to
right.
work, but you still make profit off of other people's labor.
Yeah, if you're the one owning the store as well too, and have employees as well
Mm-hmm.
too, because what
So a guy who owns a restaurant, a guy who owns a franchise, one thing of a franchise, or even like five locations of a
mm,
franchise,
yeah,
is still going to be petite bourgeoisie.
yeah,
The
local
thing about the
chain.
petty bouge is that they tend to vote along the lines of the bourgeoisie. I mean, so do most of the middle class because they think
Hmm.
that they're not working class, but they are.
Hmm. If you own a farm though, like you are alone and who does the work,
Again,
well, there were.
again, that's petty bouge.
Mhm. If you
And
own the
it's
farm,
usually not one. I mean, you can do a lot today with modern machinery and equipment,
true.
but it's a farm. You're not the only one doing the work. There's a lot of shit that goes into farming,
Hmm.
um,
That we
and
believe
usually
that
it's a family thing. And
true it
let's
is.
be honest, in the U.S., most of them are actually owned by Monsanto or other big agribusiness bullshit. They're not actually
Oh yeah.
family farms anymore. They're mostly employees at this point.
Yeah, and most people that are working the farms, if they're still like actually working the farm, whether it's machinery or picking the like crops
Mm.
themselves by hand, is usually illegal immigrants as well too, or
Or an
undocumented people,
imported immigrant a lot of the time.
imported immigrants. Yeah, yeah,
Um, yeah, because I mean, let's face it, you can't machine harvest tomatoes or grapes.
true. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like you can honestly damage some of those like things. Corns, you could probably can like machine like harvest because
Corn
those.
or wheat, you can get a combination harvester in there, and you can
Mhm.
just mow that shit down. But
Yeah.
not so much the more perishable fruits.
Yeah, exactly. Some things can like still like you just have like the basically kind of like a truck that has like the two big like rods that you can like clamp onto the tree, and then like shakes the tree in order to like it's called like is I think it's called nut shaker, honestly. And you can get like another version of the fruit shaker too, but they'll also the shaker will have a canopy to catch the fruit as well too. Well, the nuts just
Mhm.
like pour down on the ground. At least that's from last night. Honestly, this is from an episode of Monster Garage, so this was over a decade ago as well too. So it's like I'm not the best to know about what's going on in farming as well too.
Yeah, yeah, we're not farmers. I am a city boy, always have been, or a
But also
suburban boy.
right, yeah, it's a suburban and MB here as well too. But like also another thing to remember about like farming as well too. It's like, and this is like goes into the delineation between the proletariat and like peasants. Peasants are the people that like will work the farm to grow their own food. However, still have to pay taxes to the state if and such a thing too. So that's why they're still part of the working class. But they at least kind of like work for themselves in a way, while the proletariat are working in the industries and have to like absolutely work for a capitalist in order to like make ends meet because they can't grow their own food, ideally as well too. But I think in the peasants, after the Enclosure Act for sure, and like sort of capitalism, basically the land is not part of the commons anymore, and that's what we want, is that we want the land to be returned to commons so that not one person owns the farmland. The
Mhm.
farm lands on themselves are just like owned in common by everyone and like are managed by everyone. I mean, if you have your spot of like crops over here, sure, but like the over here that we're going to grow some tomatoes, and like you're welcome to like help us like pick tomatoes as well too, and like, oh, you need help over there with like the grapes, sure, well, we can help as well too, and then everyone can then share as well in the produce that's produced on
I
the farm as well.
think under communism, people will have less access to grapes and strawberries and tomatoes
True.
because we won't. Hopefully, we won't spend as much waste on
Yeah.
transporting stuff. We won't be
Hmm.
engineering our commodities for perishability, but instead
Yeah.
for flavor.
Yeah.
Turns out that like the best tomatoes don't have a good shelf life. You know?
Yeah.
Hey, Owen.
Hey, Owen.
Yeah, I'm doing okay. Hurricane and all.
Is yeah. So we won't go into the hurricane story
We're
because
gonna
we're
wait
going to
for
wait for
Isaiah because he wanted to discuss the story because he
yeah.
experienced the outer edges of it.
Yeah. So we're going to have full hurricane talk in like 20 minutes or so when like Isaiah is able to drop in on break at his like job. Um. he- yeah, I'm trying to like wait the figure out what like you're talking about. I was like, but anyway, it was probably in relation to what we were talking about as well too. Um,
I'm particularly fortunate just because of where I'm located. Like
yeah,
micro location, not a general location. But
right,
again, that's a real wait for Isaiah. We're teasing you. We're teasing you.
yeah, right. Well, oh, you know what? Let's see what else, because we also mentioned about like the vice president debate. But who cares? Yeah, the
I
growing.
struggle to remember that J.D. Vance and Tim Waltz are human beings who actually exist.
I honestly, I
The
think
more I
like
look at
my
him, the more I think J.D. Vance is just a pedophile thumb.
well, Tim Walsh
I
just like
have
looks
no
like
reason to believe he's actually a pedophile, but he looks like a
yes.
thumb, and he looks like a pedophile.
It is. That's why the couch thing kind of like took off because when we look at JD Vance, no, we can believe that guy probably used
He
as
fucked
young as
something non-consensually. Yes, I can believe that.
yes, that I can believe. And also how weird he is. He would just goes and does it. I'm JD Vance. I'm the like vice president candidate. It's like, okay,
I signed on to Donald Trump's campaign. Yes, I'm a bad person.
this oh sir, this is the top sir, this is Dunkin' Donuts. What do you want to order?
Yeah, I want a donut.
But like, yeah, Tim Wolf's back off on that attack of like he's weird, and still was cultural to him. So I don't understand as well. It seemed like he was, I don't know, maybe like the people the pundit class of like the Democrats or the consulting class that the Democrats are still listening to are the pundit class and consulting class from like 20 years ago, and maybe those tactics like worked then, but I don't think they're going to work against their opponents now. So it's just like. But who knows? It's like what my older sibling has said, they're checked out of the election. They
Mm.
also live and work in a blue state, so it's like, and I'm not gonna like pressure them to like vote and something like that. I'm sure they will. And like, I'll don't address that they were never going to vote for Trump or Republicans. So it's like then I'm good with them on that case. They're just been in survival mode in the last 7 years, 8 years, and stuff like that. That they only have enough spoons to be able to work their job and then take care of the family, a family of four. So
What
that's where
about
it's just
your
like
red pill little brother, older brother?
the younger brother, my game jaded younger brother, the Trump supporter. I
Uh,
I just no, again, I still live with that fucker. He's like right behind that wall, essentially. So, and thankfully, he doesn't talk about his politics, and so I also don't talk about my politics too. And that's how we're able to live together. And we also work
yeah,
in the
that's
same.
how I'm able to visit my parents. They're
Yes.
both Trump voters. I kind of hate them, but I
Yeah.
love them. I even like them. But
Mm,
again, the world will be a better place when they're dead
yeah.
because they won't
Honestly,
be
same.
voting Republican.
Yeah. Honestly, same with my younger brother. I mean, if I have means to, I would honestly live my own,
Mm.
or at least I'd not live with him, my younger brother. I thought, hey, I'm sure he's going to like vote it. But like I said, it's just like I'm not like the liberals and or C chives and other liberals like that are just going to be so pressuring people to vote Kamala Harris that even in red states and blue states you have to vote for Kamala Harris. It's
Mm.
like no, I'm not going to waste time. Like Phoenix is not going to vote at all, and considering their situation, I don't blame them because like even the
They'd
Democrats,
have a tough time just getting out of the house. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
I mean,
exactly,
the thing is, I'm not an accelerationist. I think
yeah,
that we
I'm not
do
either.
have to vote for Democrats,
Yeah.
even though the Democrats suck nuts.
Well, that's part of why I hate the Republicans and the fascists too. Okay, there are more substantial reasons to hate them because they want me dead, for example, and
Mm-hmm.
want my friends dead. So that's a much more substantial, and being fascist too. That's a much more substantial reason to hate them. But I also hate the Republicans because they're forcing me to have to vote for the Democrats in a
Mm-hmm.
way. But that's the only
Uh,
viable option.
I mean,
Is
liberal democracies, they didn't intend to end up with a two-party system, but boy, howdy, did
yeah.
it work out for them.
Well, I don't know how else to get how else is going to be a two-party system in this country with first past the post and
Mm.
like winner take all
Yeah, I
and
mean, mathematically, that's just the way the voting works out, is that you end up with a
yeah,
two-party system.
yeah,
But it just makes democracy so much more manageable when you have that system. And
yeah,
they didn't know that going in because they'd never seen any sort of election-based democratic systems. But
yeah,
yeah, the oligarchs lucked out on that one.
yeah, and I remember back in 2000 where people this is a frequent topic as well too that like people want like a third party want more options than just like it was like actually John Kerry and like Bush at the time
Mm-hmm.
and like again even then people didn't like either one of them as well too because they weren't excited for John Kerry and well they have their opinions of Bush because of Iraq for sure but like Chris Matthew would argue that like well how do you get a majority which I guess at this point, I don't know if that's important for the majority of people to have voted for someone, for like the majority of people to
It,
get the president.
if I were to set up a democracy, an actual democracy, something that represented the people, I would just
Hmm.
choose, like 10,000 people at random.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
they would literally represent the people because it would be a random selection.
sure.
And then you replace like 25% of them every couple of years. And if they need help
Hmm.
crafting laws, you hire lawyers. That's what lawyers are for. You hire them. They're like beans. You buy them
Hmm.
as you need them.
Yeah, just like
And
lawyers,
just
hire them.
just let people be people and fuck the
Mhm.
oligarchs.
Yeah. Again, which is like when I was mentioning this. Oh, I tried to talk about this yesterday on Owen's McDonald's channel because talking with Aslan Rollins and Space Cat, and Aslan was wondering about like how to have a more democratical way to like do things as well too. I brought up what Zaspatistas are doing. I mentioned what like Joey the Indigenous Heretic mentioned of how the Lakota people like do governance as well too with councils.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned dual power. I mentioned about the Democratic Confederacy that's like going on in Rajava right now. Other ways to have more or horizontal form
Mm-hmm.
of like a governance structures as well too, which we have done in the past. There have been like people that have like those kind of structures in the past, so I don't see how we can't do that now. I mean, that's the point of
The
like,
only thing I'm worried about is the sort of institutional conservatism,
yeah, in
like
this country
the
right now,
Académie
yeah,
Française. You know, the
yes,
thing they used to try to standardize the French language to.
yeah,
I mean, it started out, it sort of revolutionized spelling and pronunciation and all that shit, and then it
mhm,
quickly became basically fascism.
yeah. Let's just craft the laws, and anyone who wants to vote on them, and they want. Yeah, I actually, Joe
Yeah.
McClure, I'm for that
That's
too.
not a bad idea.
Well, I'm trying to think about this. So, like, what about like the city councils or like the state governments as it is right now? But like, everyone can like attend those meetings, which technically anyone can, but it's
Hmm.
oftentimes on a Tuesday at 10 a.m. when
Yep.
most people work.
Yep.
And
It's intended to only be attended by Karens,
yes,
Karens and
essentially.
Klansmen.
Yeah, I mean, much like with like trying to vote at the caucus on like Tuesday night at 7 p.m. is or two, and also with the caucus system has like you're
Hmm.
basically peer pressured to like which side or not side, especially if
Yeah.
you try to be over with your candidate and see you have small numbers and something like that. Peer pressure, peer pressure, peer pressure is
Hmm.
like high school again. And
As for
that's
corruption, in addition to picking people from at random from the population at large, I would also make it so that anyone who is in the legislature, uh, they no longer own anything.
yeah,
All of their stuff is put into a blind trust
yes,
that's split up and divided all over the place, so nobody knows who's handling what, and
mhm,
that extends not just to them but to their family, like out to 2 degrees of separation. So their grandparents, their grandchildren, aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews, cousins,
mm,
all of their stuff is also put in trust. And hey, guess what? You get to opt out of getting of serving if you don't want to be chunked
yes,
out like that. Um,
exactly. And
and
no, no,
then
no,
you don't get it back when you're done.
yeah.
You sort of live off the proceeds and the public purse. I mean, because
Mhm.
again, in my ideal situation, everyone has free food, housing, healthcare, clothing.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the thing, and like Owen, you're right, exactly right. Like democracy has to compete with like capitalism as well too,
Hmm.
and
Yep.
and we all agree here that like you cannot have true democracy under capitalism.
Capitalism is the most authoritarian bullshit out there, and it is. There's just no way for people to be free and happy so long as capitalism exists.
Exactly, because like yeah, I also am assuming that in my ideal world too, that everyone has free food, everyone free has free house, and everyone has like free whatever they need to in order to like thrive as
But
well
why
too.
would anybody work? I said free food. I didn't say free beer.
There you go. There you go. You know what? For a good bourbon, I'm willing to do as like extra work for a good bourbon. You hear that here? Because I have had some good bourbon or a good mead, honestly.
Uh,
But yeah, and then yeah, I'm also assuming that like everyone has like all the free essentials for like living,
mhm,
so that they have the extra time as it were to be involved in governance and involved
mhm,
in their
yeah.
community. Because I
And the thing
think it's
about
that.
community is we know people are going to work regardless.
Yes.
Because,
Hmm.
I mean, there's always going to be that guy who wants to run a restaurant just because he loves food and he loves being surrounded by people.
Yeah, that was the point of the like this essay I like read like years ago, and it was actually one of my last videos I put up on my YouTube channel before I started putting up the like clips of like me reading the Democratic Party platform of abolish the restaurants. Is not the concept of like having a place for people to gather for like eat food cooked by like a chef or a group of chefs or something like that. Like the idea of a bar is not a bad idea because I'm sure there are some people that are great bartenders. So it's like, listen, I'm going to have a conversation with you for 5 minutes. And based off our conversation, I'm going to find a good cocktail for you to drink and something like that. And I'll make that cocktail for you. No, that in itself is a great idea. The problem and the reason why that essay was about abolish restaurants is that we hate how capitalism runs
Mm-hmm.
a bar and runs a restaurant.
Mm-hmm. It's like the bartender, the waitress, what have you. They're abused by the customers because
Yes.
the customers have power over them by virtue
Yeah.
of the capitalist system.
Oh yeah. And I
um,
I
you're right. I wouldn't tell you capitalism isn't the most authoritarian, but it is absolutely inherently authoritarian.
I agree it is.
And the fact that it abstracts it and makes it easier to put yourself at a remove, I think, makes it that much worse. Because you no longer see the human cost. Societal roles exist independently of wage labor. It's capitalism that transforms existence into a game of survival for the worker, where exchanging work for money is needed to live. Exactly right.
Exactly right, Owen. Yeah.
I mean, it's like racism is not the result of capitalism, but capitalism absolutely encourages it and thrives on it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There are some people that would just love to cook and love to cook for like many people. My stepmom, she always overcooks food. She always overcooks it, according to my dad's, because she used to be like the chef on like a fishing boat, and so she just had to make a lot of extra food because it's a fishing boat. Honestly, they're doing labor intensive like work and stuff like that, so they do have to eat a lot for a lot of calories as well too. And I'm sure like they don't mind extra food as well too. So my stepmom always makes extra food and will give it to me, and like honestly, most of the times I have accepted it and I'm like I'm fine with it as well too. But so there will always be that one person that loves to cook and will cook for like a lot of people, but there's always plenty of people that like we know that like are friends of ours that like Phoenix, for example, that like they just don't have the spoons to cook. And so if they can have like someone deliver food to them as well too, they'll love that as well too. Again, from each according to the ability to cook a lot of food, to each according to need. I need food because I can't cook right now.
But the thing is, I'm not sure about the from each according to their ability part. I think we do too much right now. I think we could do a hell of a lot less and still have a fully thriving society.
Oh, I totally agree. Yeah, like automate a lot of the jobs that like you don't want to like do something like that. And or like if we come to a point where no one's willing to do this one crappy job, we'll just automate it away. I'm sure I don't know if anyone that has actually done a lot of coal mining that actually loves doing coal mining as well too. I'm fine with
Are there
automating.
any coal mines in Saskatchewan or wherever the fuck you live?
Yes. Oh no, and maybe I had to look up if there's like coal mines in the Cascades.
It wouldn't surprise me. Apparently, coal is based off a certain kind of tree, and I wouldn't be surprised if it existed out there as well. Except for the fact that those mountains are, as I understand, a hell of a lot younger than the Appalachians.
Yeah.
But I mean, the fact is, we talk a lot about restaurants because it's really easy to think of that fat, friendly Italian, right? Or the grandma type who just loves to see people fed. But I mean,
exactly.
I can still picture people building cars because they love them.
Yeah.
Like you've heard of kit cars, maybe it's you buy a car part by part, and then you put it together just because you love cars, right? And I can see people who love cars just being willing to build cars so people have cars.
So I do know there is some coal mines in the area because there is in fact a small town in this area called Black Diamond.
Yeah, there's a reason for 1848. No, 49. 49ers.
Yes. So yeah, capitalism is a mechanism for plausible deniability for Muslim states to pretend that they're just and not just dictators. Yeah. Again, I read the real reason for the Gates Foundation is basically genocide and like imperialism as well too, with medical imperialism as well too. Because like Bill Gates is not a doctor. He doesn't have any medical training. Why does he get to dictate what vaccines get to make or something like that?
The whole reason for the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is just so that we don't decapitate him. That's it.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. But also with any kind of charity organizations, they'll donate money as a tax write-up, but then donate money to themselves, and they'll also look, I'm a philanthropist. I do philanthropy.
A philanthropist. I love that. Philanthropist.
A philanthropist. But like Justin Clark on like Red Reviews has like said like no, the difference between philanthropy and actual charity is that like the
rich people give till you don't hurt them. Poor people give till it hurts.
Yes. Yes. Because it definitely, like I have stated, yeah, I may have only like donated like $40,000 like in the last like 2 years or something like that. I haven't like actually done the math to figure out that's how much I have like donated over the past life, and like that pales in comparison to millions and millions that like whoever Musk Bezos like Gates like has donated to whatever cause they donate to. So too, but the thing is like that forty thousand
You don't
dollars in the last
have
two
that
years,
$40,000. You're forty thousand
yeah.
dollars in debt to do
True,
that.
but also it's like a significant portion of like what I'm my income is worth too. Well, it's like they're billionaires donating just millions. That's like pennies compared to them.
Mm, yeah, yeah, yeah. Philanthropy is showboating.
Yes,
Charity is care.
yes.
And yeah, I'm not surprised the Cybertrucks were recalled because getting rained on breaks them. I see them all over the place now because I live in a Republican state.
Yeah.
They are the ugliest goddamn things.
Mm.
They are a child's drawing of a car.
Yes.
That's so fucking shitty.
Hmm. Uh,
Let's see.
what? What was it? Jesus says the poor mother who had donated her last penny more than the rich man, like shoveling money at the church. Yeah, I can believe that's something that Jesus would say.
So, have you seen The Batman, starring
No,
Robert Pattinson?
no, I want to though. I heard like great things
It's
about
good.
it.
It's 3 hours. It's a slog.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
the
But
villain
hey,
is the Riddler. They do a really good job making him an effective villain
no, okay, good.
because
Good.
he's brutal and vicious.
Hmm.
But
Nice.
here's the thing: he
Hmm.
he slaughters his way through a bunch of white collar criminals who embezzled money that was intended for an orphanage,
Mm.
and somehow he's the bad guy. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's um, it does a really good job of highlighting the difference between the Riddler and the Batman because
Hmm.
the Riddler is vicious and he wants to destroy Gotham, seeing it as corrupt, whereas
Hmm.
Batman, he is brutal but not cruel.
Yeah.
Um, that's one of the things I love best about the animated series
Hmm.
from when I was a kid, and the reason I want to remake it as a live action show
Hmm.
is that
Yeah.
Batman had compassion.
Yes, absolutely. That Batman did have compassion, absolutely, because he
Um,
like he had connection to like the communities he's like trying to protect, which to be fair, he does protect from like gangsters as well too, and like nope, nope, no, yeah, and like so yeah, I really enjoy the Batman the anime series. So Kevin Conroy is still my Batman,
mhm.
and the fact that like
Mark
he
Hamill's my Joker.
yeah, Mark Hamill is like yeah, I get it. That's why I still will love like Massive Phantasm, the Batman animated series, theatrical movie, because like that's when I learned like Mark Hamill, Scoot Skywalker was the Joker.
He's a brilliant voice actor. And Kevin Conroy did such a great job. They were considering hiring two different voice actors, one to be Batman, one to be Bruce Wayne. But then
Mhm.
they heard Kevin Conroy just shift the tone of his voice and said, okay, no, we
Yes,
get it.
yeah.
Why do Cybertrucks
George.
have no rearview mirror? So the drivers can't see people laughing at them.
You know what? Actually, McDonald, George Clooney is not a bad Batman. He was just like in a not
He was
great
in the bad Batman movie.
but not the worst Batman movie. I think we can say is
Man.
is
There's so many Batman movies at this point.
yes,
But
it's
yeah,
like
Zack Schneider can burn in hell.
it's like I don't know. Let's see if a fascist now he's objectivist and like I'm Iranian. That's bad enough. Like
Yeah.
not the
I
worst,
think
but
he
still
just loves
bad.
movies. He just doesn't have anything to say.
Yeah, exactly. So bad is good in my eyes. I think I enjoy Batman and Robin more than most of the proper
It's because
superhero
it's so bad
films.
it's good. There is a good joy in a so bad it's good movie,
Oh
like
yeah,
Evil
yeah, yeah. And
Dead.
yeah, at least with Batman and Robin is like Hey, what guilty down is the Ice Age? Yes, and Arnold Schwarzenegger enjoyed himself playing like Mr.
Oh
T
yeah,
for
they were
sure.
all chewing scenery, and so were Tommy Lee Jones and Jim
Mm,
Carrey in the one before that.
hmm
Not Batman Returns, but Batman Begin Again, or whatever the fuck the third movie was.
hmm
Um, it's like it's hard to avoid camp in
Yeah.
superhero shit. So sometimes you lean into it and it works. Sometimes you do and it doesn't.
hmm honestly, Mithril, I actually also like Electra too because kind of like in my mind, I see it as a unofficial like live action rendition of Ninja Scroll. Think about it. S-
Jennifer Garner got to return to the role of Elektra in Deadpool and
true.
Wolverine. It
I
was a
was
lot of fun seeing those guys. And then all of a sudden,
yeah.
out of nowhere, Channing Tatum.
Yes.
Because he
I
was
did
going to
that.
play Gambit in a movie about Gambit for Fox, during the
Yeah.
years where Fox still owned that shit and existed. Um,
Mhm.
but it got stuck in development hell, so we never got to play. But then suddenly, there's Channing Tatum putting on an incomprehensible Cajun accent.
Yes. I did not know who that actor was. I was just like, wow, that's Gambit, honestly.
Yeah, he did a really good
Yes.
job with it. And you can tell.
Yeah.
I mean, Deadpool and Wolverine is a way to play up the camp and play up the drama and have it all work at the same time.
hmm
Because it's Deadpool.
Yeah.
Let's see. Elektra with Jennifer Garner, yeah. So yeah, she got to play Elektra. Wesley
hmm
Snipes came back as Blade.
hmm
Of course, old man Hugh Jackman got to play Wolverine again.
Yeah, again.
But one of the things that Deadpool kept lampshading is, Fox killed him. Disney brought him back. He's gonna play this role until he's 90.
Oh god, Deadpool and
And
Wolverine was
let's
so
see,
much
who's
fun.
the other? Oh, right, they brought back the girl who played Laura in
Yeah,
Logan. Um,
Logan.
oh. I love how Deadpool and Wolverine opens up with, "So how are we going to treat the Logan with respect? We're not."
Mhm. No, no. Oh
Digs up the
no.
grave to find that Logan actually is dead, and then starts beating his skeleton with a shovel.
Yes,
And then
and
uses
then
his skeleton to kill people.
yes, oh, to the tune of "Bye Bye Bye" by Insane, and that is now a emote in Fork Knife. And yes, every almost there's always like at least
Ugh.
one person in the lobby that in the spawn island doing "Bye Bye Bye," and it's one you can sync with, so you can join in with the other people even if you don't have that emote to do the dance and stuff like that.
Oh man, I
Because
do enjoy
some
the Deadpool movies
yes,
because
I do
it's
enjoy.
a beautiful romance. The first one.
Yes, yes, it was absolutely two broken people finding each other, like
Hmm.
sharing,
Sharing
commiserating with.
pain and making each other whole.
Yes, exactly. Deadpool 2, I think, yeah, I like a lot as well too.
Hmm.
Interesting enough, there is like a second version of Deadpool 2 where they kind of like they just like add some new scenes or add some like a
Yeah, the
cut
super
scene.
duper cut, I think it's called.
Right, where it's also they also like had it like in like the theaters for like and the proceeds from those like ticket sales was going to go to a charity, which is why they were again showing the Deadpool 2 in theaters again. But it also the sequence where it's like Deadpool duct tape like Fred Savage to the bed, recreating the Princess Bride scenes is just like amusing. Oh damn it, Isaiah's internet sketchy. So fortunately, if Isaiah is working on Sundays, it's like he has to like use his like phone data as well too to join on his phone, and sometimes like he can't get a connection or anything
Hmm.
like that. So it's like so
We'll
unfortunately
wait another
Isaiah.
5 minutes to see if he joins, and if he
Yeah.
can't, then I'll still share my hurricane story.
hmm Yeah, no,
It's
but it's
not
like
particularly exciting. I was never in any real danger. It's just boredom.
yeah. Well, it's this kind of story where it's like, what do you do when you like lost power and something like that?
I read a lot of books.
Yep. honestly, when I did lose power, I was actually streaming on Friday night, and I lost power. Maybe like I think it was weather, like gusts. If there's winds that like gusts to like about 50 to
Yeah.
60 miles per hour, chances are there's a lot of trees here, and so
Yeah,
chances
and
are
you're gonna
trees
lose
fall down.
branches. Trees are gonna fall down.
Yep.
Shit happens. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So it's
But
like I was actually streaming and then lost power, and then it's just like, okay, I'm gonna end stream right out, and then it's just like, so it's just oh Saturday that was on Friday night. Oh Saturday had no power whatsoever, so I was like, I don't know what to do. I basically napped a lot. Yeah, I could have
mm.
read, but like I just like napped as well too. That's one of the rare times I actually do nap. Most of the times I hate the idea of napping because I'm like, no, I'm awake, I'm active. The only times I'm
There's
sleeping is
something to
when
do. I'm gonna do it. There's nothing to do. Oh, I'm gonna be not awake now.
yeah, exactly. Uh,
That is the
I
most
it,
ADHD thing ever.
it's proof that I have ADHD. Then I've self-diagnosed myself with that as well too. That's what we talked about before many times, and like so many people have like they say that like Jonathan, you must have ADHD because like I just like see it in you as well too. And yep, probably true. And knowing my other family members in my immediate family is like, no, we are neurospicy. All of us are neurospicy for sure. For sure, my dad and like my brothers and I because of like dyslexia, but it's like no, my mom's neurospicy too. Anyway,
I'm pretty sure my
uh,
mom's autistic.
yeah. So yeah,
And unfortunately believes in eugenics. By which I mean to say she's against abortion.
yeah. I'm not sure where my mom stands on that now. I just remember like 20 years ago, it's what seemed, or like back when I was in high school, she was pro-choice, no, pro-life because she made that choice, and personally. So yeah, um, I honestly don't talk politics with my mother either. Not sure where she is on like things as well too. For the most part, she's accepted me. That's what's the most important thing. So I'm sure that like she's fine with that. So it's just like I'm sure she didn't vote for Trump, but like the rest of the fucking party when it's not Trumpians, I'm not sure. But again, don't want to like have that conversation with my mom because I wanted to get into have a relationship with my mom. So it's like yeah.
Mm.
Uh, well, what else has happened in like that past week or 2 weeks or something like that? Oh, you know what? I'll share this from like work. It's like I don't know where my mother is and for neurospicy as like or and not as she is like dead. No, that's sad. A little sad
It's,
myself.
yeah. That's. I don't
But
know if that's
yeah,
a good or bad thing for you. It sounds like
yeah,
you're kind of unhappy about it.
hmm
Just,
yeah. Hey, I actually had the thought of
but
like how I
it's
react.
kind of nice to meet you, Zalrock.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you're wrenched,
Uh,
so meet
yeah.
you again.
You somehow wrenched him as well too. You
So
wrenched like.
they've just not been here in a long enough time that I, sorry, don't remember you.
She was abusive piece of shit. So happy. Okay, yeah,
Okay,
there we go.
okay, there we go. So good to clarify that.
Yes, exactly. You know what was happening at work now? Well, also yesterday I was like working on Saturday, but just to like catch up on like doing the random stuff. Oh wait,
Hey, Izzy's here. Let's wait for him to finish loading
yes. And yeah, I can talk. And in the meantime, it's like work is interesting. We're changing processes now. And now it's like instead before they were just like old materials and stuff like that. Isaiah, jump in when you got a chance to like chat as well too. Go ahead and interrupt me as I'm talking because we're just like waiting on you for the connect as well too. Um, honestly, sometimes I think like with my phone, sometimes I think that like it's not because like the network's down or network's slow or I only got like 2 gigs for some reason, or I have 5 gigs but not a full bar of 5 gigs. I honestly think my phone just like needs to be restarted in order to like be able to reconnect again because it's like overheating or something like that. I don't think it's overheating or was overheating, but sometimes I feel like it's better or easier for me to like actually connect to the network again once like I just restart as well too. And
Oh,
so
we
boop.
lost Izzy.
Yep. That's the problem. I mean, that's the problem. Especially when my phone says I have 5 gigs, and yet it's like slow as fuck to like load a video, loads a YouTube video. It's just like, and it's like I'm not running other programs in the background, not really. Um, but yeah. So it worked. we normally do things with issue materials and stuff like that. Now we have like things the used to be materials are now sub-assemblies. And I asked, and especially how like they did in the middle production and something. So while we're like have parts on the shelf as materials ready to be issued to jobs as well too. No, we have those same parts, but now coming in as sub-assemblies already issued to the control ticket as well too. I kind of was like, why are we doing this as well too? And my manager, the assembly manager, hates how production control just like did in the middle production and some things as well too. But he said like, if you ask people outside, they will say that like we can't trust the stock room. And so I was like, oh, great. So they're changing how we do things at work because they don't trust the job I'm doing and the job my coworker's doing. That's good to hear. And I honestly think it's going to cause some more problems down the road. It's just gone. There's going to be issues that kind of come up. I just know it. Work.
J.K. Rowling has identified her religion as transphobic.
Did she?
Quoting from LGBTQ Nation. The notoriously anti-trans Scotswoman and author of the Harry Potter book series identified herself on the Scottish census as a, quote, believer in biology, end quote. A cut-and-paste protest whipped up by the transphobic scolds at For Women Scotland, a gender-critical organization whose sole mission is to make life miserable for trans people in the sovereign UK state. 2,883 respondents in Scotland, a country with a population of around 5.5 million, wrote believer in biology as their religion. So J.K. Rowling is a worshiper at the altar of hating trans people.
Yep. I think she said that like I used to know someone that like thinks that like you just have to explain things to like a J.K. Rowling and something like that, and probably and then she will understand trans people. It's like nope. From what I've seen of her actions, she is she is a firm believer in her transphobia.
She is a confirmed utter piece of shit.
Yeah. Which honestly, so there's like someone was like posting in like the event channel in the Discord I'm in as well too. Not gonna name the person as well too because it's like not necessarily a private Discord, but like I don't think this person was sharing it in the Discord, so not sharing it publicly. But they were seeing how like again they were again by a different friend ghosted essentially. And now they understand why people do that. And they're not saying that like that person has a right to like tell them is like, why did you ghost me? Something like that. But for them personally, they were like, what did I do wrong? And that caused me to wonder because I basically did ghost someone. I was like friends with them, but then I just like left the Discord, unfollowed them on Twitch, unfollowed them on my socials. I'm subscribed to the YouTube channel, and I have basically like ghosted this person. If I see the person in like a mutual space, just where I'm not going to be mean, I'll be cordial, but like I did actually ghost this person, and I know this person like also does actually legitimately suffer from depression as well too. But it's kind of making me wonder, especially since it's been like about a months or so. Should I maybe write a post or like write a DM as well to explain myself, or would it be like because I don't know what to do.
And for a minute there, I was sharing a picture of Elon Musk shaking Trump's hand, and Musk looked so goddamn evil.
Yeah, because like Musk is absolutely a white supremacist and a piece of shit. And
yeah,
like,
but in this picture, I mean, I'll put it back on the thing. He looks like one. He's wearing a black hat with "Make America
wow.
Great Again" stitched on it in black. Wearing a black shirt that is probably racist and a black jacket. He's literally a supervillain without the super.
Yeah. No, he's just like the standard kind of villain you see on like Captain Planet. Because like
oh, is trying again. He
yep.
Sent a message to us on Facebook saying that his internet is shitty, so he
Yeah.
might not be able to make it.
Oh, hey. Yeah.
We got audio. We don't have any video, but we got audio.
Yeah. Well, you may not get video considering how shitty this internet connection is. So you're probably
Go
gonna
ahead
be
and
talking.
turn off the video just so that you don't keep trying.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
we got a freeze frame.
Okay. Yeah, I just stopped the video. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right.
Yes, we sent.
All right. Good. Good. That's
All right.
good. Yeah, you guys couldn't get rid of me that easily. Technical,
We wouldn't
technical
want to. We
challenges.
like our neurospicy black friend.
Yeah, yes, you do. Technical issues and having to work on Sundays be damned.
Yes. And you also survived the hurricane just like John Brockman did.
I
Yes.
did because they were projecting it to hit Tallahassee dead on. That was the earlier projection, but then it
Instead, it's
wobbled.
sort of it played with the tank and then went up through Georgia.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and like Asheville, I mean, like Asheville got just
Mm.
clobbered.
Yeah, basically, it moved its way up along the east side of the Appalachians and sort of planted itself over the Carolinas. So for
Yeah.
about 12 hours there, we got blasted with rain, which
Mhm.
made the soil just absolutely fucking sodden. And then, of course,
Yeah.
gale force winds. Every goddamn tree fell down
Yep.
or broke in half and fell down. I mean, it's an absolute shit show out there.
You guys had mudslides too, right?
Oh yeah,
Mudslides.
yep,
Yeah.
yep.
With that much
Because I
rain, yeah.
mean, that's a mudslide. Basically, the soil gets enough water in it that
Yeah.
the layer underneath gets so soaked that the combination of water and pressure turns
Mhm.
it back into a liquid, and then the
Yep.
top layer just sloughs off.
Yeah.
It can be absolutely devastating. A friend of mine living in the hills above Asheville,
Mhm.
he's not going to get power back for a couple of weeks. He says.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Some
not
people would
Surprised
just
surprised.
with
say,
that.
but how can mud do that? It's just mud.
It's a couple thousand tons of mud, you motherfucker.
It's wet and slippery enough.
Yeah, it's like water, but like
Mhm.
people like when you drink water, you think, oh, water, it can't do anything, and then all that force and pressure behind it, it's like
If
Mhm.
you've ever
water
felt
could
shit like that, don't ever walk out
water
into the
water
street after a water main break.
Yes.
right water will fuck you up. Water
Oh
will
Yeah.
yeah.
fuck you up.
That's why like aquaphobia, fear of water, is a legitimate fear because of
Hmm.
fear of drowning and that sort of thing too.
I mean, just the sheer force of it. I mean, you
Yeah.
go outside, you feel the wind. Now imagine instead of air, it's water. I mean,
Yeah. Because water, liquids are denser than air or
yep,
gas.
a couple thousand times denser.
Yes.
Instead of milligrams per. Oh, we lost Izzy.
Damn
Instead of
it.
milligrams per. Oh, he's
Oh
back.
wait, he's back. We lost Isaiah. No, he's back.
Oh,
Back, yeah, we're probably gonna be glitching for the next 25 minutes, so just
all right.
just just be
Yeah.
Okay.
warned.
Yeah,
No
so for
problem.
me, I lost power
Mhm.
along like half the state, literally half the state. South Carolina's
Mhm.
population somewhere north of 4 million people. Uh, on Friday, 2.2 million people had no electricity.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was an absolute nightmare here in South Carolina. They
So what?
and
So what's going on? Not to interrupt, but what's going on with like aid and stuff like that? Are you guys getting any FEMA aid? I'm also hearing that
we're gonna be getting FEMA aid. Me personally, I'm not gonna get any of that because I'm a poor. But
Mhm.
oh, in and out. Um, Izzy's a porn star, in and out on video. um, but yeah, me personally, no. All I got was when a couple of passengers asked me to pull over at a place where some charity was giving out food and water, and they picked up some for me too. So I've
Mhm.
got a bag of granola bars, a couple extra trash bags, and a case of water bottles. Which is a good thing.
Mhm.
We could use those.
Yeah.
But at that point, I had my power back on. They were predicting that power would be back on for most people like Wednesday to Friday of this past week, and it just keeps getting pushed back because it's so bad.
Mhm.
And a lot of people just do not have power and no hope of getting it back for a week or two at the best.
Mhm.
Like I'm driving around and occasionally, I just have to do a big fucking circle because there's a tree blocking the road.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's even been major roads that.
Later, so give me like a minute.
Yeah,
Sure thing.
there have been major
Actually,
roads that had a tree blocking one or two lanes for
Mm-hmm.
a better part of a week. And of course, my
yeah,
apartment complex has a couple of trees down, and they're not going to fix those because it's run by slumlords and they're assholes, and I hate them, and I hope they die.
Mm-hmm.
But
Are you
fortunately,
guys also getting like?
So what do you
but
say, Isaiah?
No, I was asking, are you guys also getting like are people like airlifting aid to you guys? Like, there's like
oh no, Greenville
support.
wouldn't hit that bad. I live in the city, not up in the hills, so I haven't had to have anything that desperate. Um,
Okay.
but I would imagine some places like I said, the hills above Asheville apparently got just fucking slammed.
Mm-hmm.
They probably do need that. It's just like I said, my friend Kevin, he's had to move out of his house. He and his wife are living with friends because they don't have power. They're not going to have power for a couple of weeks.
Mm.
So that's tragic.
Yeah,
That's horrible.
yeah. And of
Florida's
course,
actually about
Trump
to get.
is saying that Biden is using this to punish Republicans. When the truth is that no, Biden was on the phone with the governor of Georgia the day it happened, and Trump actually did do this bullshit. He tried to deny aid to California when he was president.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we have another hurricane headed for Florida. It's going to actually hit Tampa as a Cat 4. So
Yeah,
there you go with
not
that.
surprising.
And yep, and what DeSantis just did, he just basically said that everyone can buy a gun now because
Yeah.
of the hurricane. So this is why whenever hurricanes hit Florida or the South, part of me does I do like a maniacal smile does come across my face.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Cause like I well hold on because sorry to interrupt but like a couple like it was like last it was actually I think it was this year DeSantis said that slavery was beneficial to enslave black folks and so the way I took that was so can hurricanes be like the descendants of dead slaves that punished the South since you want to think that slavery was beneficial to
Honestly, that follows the same logic of how like 9/11 was like God punishing us for being degenerates if like by accepting.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
you cannot send a
Sometimes
yeah, and you know you cannot send a nuke to a hurricane to like stop that as well too. That's just like
I
there
cannot
is no
believe
human weapon that matches any natural disaster.
true, honestly. There are going to be humans that will try to like match the destructive force of a volcano, though.
I mean, humans can kill as many people as a natural disaster, but it takes them longer and it has to be bespoke. Nazis. I'm talking about the Nazis here and the Republicans because the Republicans are Nazis.
Yes.
and the Israeli government because let's throw that in there
Yeah,
too. I
Israel
feel
is
like
Nazis. Yeah.
I feel like with this genocide going on, like how can we still honor the Holocaust? How do we still?
It's
We can still honor the Holocaust because like it was like 6 million like Jewish people that were slaughtered indiscriminately by like a fascist government as well too. Because we can
Yeah.
separate Jewish people from the
Israel
Zionists
is not Judaism. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
So yeah, it's just I don't even really watch the news anymore, mostly because it's biased as shit, and it's
Yeah.
just
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I don't know if I don't know how anyone can get in like a news source that like isn't biased as well too because I think
Hello?
hello, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you, but you
Okay.
guys are glitching out over there.
No, I think it's
Okay.
you.
Well,
Oh, I can hear you now, geek. Go ahead.
okay, yeah. Well, oh yeah. So I don't know how you can have like a unbiased like news source. Just like how can anyone be like unbiased as well too by reporting the news. You are they were reporting some kind of like bias as well too.
Mm-hmm.
I think this was covered in like Behind Bastards on like how the liberal media covered for like the Nazis in a way too, because like the New York Times for like the longest time barely mentioned like the Holocaust at all, and didn't, I think for sure did not mention it while as it was happening as well too, because again, want to be fair and
The
balanced.
U.S. loved Nazi Germany and fascist Italy.
Yes.
We only joined
Yes.
the war because our extended empire was attacked by the Japanese.
Exactly. This. I mean, Henry Ford pretty much is a fascist, and he loved the Nazis as well too. He got like mentioned in Mein Kampf.
I mean, the U.S. inspired the Nazis. They
Yeah,
were
exactly.
the apotheosis of U.S. policy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, there was a Nazi rally in Madison Square Garden that was very well attended.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The original slaves believed that their souls were like lost and like couldn't return to homeland because like Atlantic Isaiah. So possibly. No, yeah, exactly. They like return to the lost souls. Yes, for like
Yeah.
vengeance.
So like yeah, just like how tornadoes are like the descend are like the ghosts of like massacred natives. So you can look at it like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh,
yeah.
That's a new theory to me, but I kind of like it, except that ghosts don't exist.
well, yeah.
There's no such thing
It's-
as a soul. There's just a nothing after you die.
Yeah, I do personally agree with that too. Yeah.
I'm gonna be
But,
honest, like I'm an atheist and hard like a pretty strong one. But I mean, don't get me wrong, I sometimes do wonder, is there an afterlife? Like what would an atheist afterlife be if there was such a thing?
It'll be nothing.
An eternal IHOP.
So the International House of Pancakes IHOP.
Yes,
Right.
yes, not the one from The Good Place.
Yes.
It's
Because
a
that's
dimensional
different.
hole of pancakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope
It's just
my
like
afterlife
after
is
everyone
like-
dies, they end up at brunch at IHOP or Denny's, maybe Waffle House
Yeah.
if you're Southern.
No. I don't want to. I don't want to forever be at Denny's.
It's the same thing as IHOP.
Waffle
For
House, because I can't make cakes or waffles for shit. So Waffle House that's like my go-to place.
Yeah.
Oh, you just had to ruin it by bringing up the atheist. Although I hear he has kind of walked back his virulent bullshit and apologized, but
Is
still,
he
that
still
guy can go
doing
fuck
stuff?
himself with a running dildo.
I haven't heard anything from that guy. Is he still active on the internet?
Oh, he's still
Yeah,
around.
he
He still
sure
has
is.
his YouTube channel, I think,
Mhm.
but
Okay.
he's not what he used to be. I think that's why he walked it back, is because he lost followers. Because all of his followers got red-pilled and started following fucking dickless Andy-Trump or the bald guy who got arrested in Romania, whatever his name is.
Andrew Tate.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Tate, not Trump.
Mhm.
Yeah. I hope. God damn it, I can't speak worth a fuck. I hope my afterlife is like on the like I can finally like live on the Enterprise D from Star Trek and just go around the
Yeah,
galaxy
you
with
want the D.
Picard somewhere.
No, the Amazing Atheist is still around, still has his videos. I know it's kind of interesting. Of like, yeah, he's like so confused. It's like I don't know, like 13K is worth too, but like I don't know. But yeah. Some people are still around, like Warcorp 666 is still around, Lord of Patriarchy, the Frustrated
See, Warcorp
Historian.
666, he's the chubby guy, long red hair, balding, has clocks on his wall.
Yes, that's
Okay.
that Lord of Patriarchy, because that's what he is called now, the Lord of Patriarchy. McDonald has like posted like a video. No, not McDonald. No, the Frustrated Historian Danny Corks. He posted a video in response to the World Corp 666 because like I think he just randomly Googles like what's like Anis Sarkeesian doing now, and then he found like Anis Sarkeesian's like latest website. Where it's just like, hey, I'm a game consultant. I have worked on these projects. You can hire me as well too. And which is like what a lot of like those big kind of like people do that like do that kind of business as well too. And so War Corp 666 Lords of Patriarchy just like rants about needs like and for I don't know how long. 30 minutes or an hour.
He's
or something
still
like
going
that.
on about that shit? He's stuck in 2012.
Yes, pretty much.
Jesus Christ. That's sad.
It is.
Yeah. Do you guys keep it with Jacqueline Glenn by any chance? You guys know who that is?
Oh, she was an atheist, brown hair, kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't remember why she was a piece of shit, but she was a piece of. Was she transphobic? Was that what it was?
I don't
maybe.
know.
I just remember that I listened to her for a bit, thought she was okay, then she said some bigoted shit about something, and I stopped following her.
Oh, yeah, no. I think like the Essence and Thoughts has made a bunch of videos about like her and like what's wrong with like her and stuff. And yeah, I think she has made some like transphobic stuff. So it's like, yeah, the fact that I'm just gonna go to Essence of Thoughts like a channel to see because
Tubia grew up as a Catholic, come to be devout, became vegetarian, graduated U.S. She's from Florida. We lost. See.
again, Isaiah is going to be like in and out.
Yeah. I
She
watched
posted
Dusty Smith
Playboy.
show a lot.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know about much about like Jacqueline Glenn, honestly. So it's just like I was never like that deep into.
He tried out for Playboy? I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Well, I mean, you look at her, you can believe it. She looks like she'd
Hmm.
have an OnlyFans.
Yeah. Again, nothing wrong with that because sex work is work.
No, that's fine. I'm just no. This Wikipedia thing doesn't have her the shitty stuff about her. I don't remember. I just can't remember why she was shitty.
Hmm. So yeah. I don't know. There was like I again never deep into like the atheist thing as well too. Maybe with new atheism, so I knew like the big popular ones like Sosa Cosmos the
Dark Matter.
what
Is there like an atheist, like a YouTuber named Dark Matter something something?
Dark Matter
Yes, and
20.
he's a good one, as I recall.
Yes. Yeah, I remember Dark Matter being a good one too. Potholders, decent one. I like Aaron Raw, but then Aaron Raw stand up for his friend of Rationality Rules, and Rationality Rules should prove to be
Was
transphobic.
the one who, yep, transphobic.
Hmm. But I like we always say, like, it's just that way. Carry heroes are the only good heroes to sandwich. Still like
Our
PC
Raw's
Myers.
largely okay, but
Yeah,
has some blind
that
spots.
is that. That was a blind spot, I agree. PC Myers is still cool and awesome, and like he just does
Mm-hmm.
science stuff because he's a
Yeah,
professor.
that's all he's
it's
ever
like
done. You know.
pretty much, yeah. And it has great dry wet, honestly. Let's see. And yeah, some of the people that we are so friends with and know this, like, yeah, there we go. But like, again, atheism is just like, yeah, yeah, you can like do that sort of content, and yeah, there are like creationists out there as well too. I mean, there's and some terrible people you can like discuss and like talk about as well too. But like, I don't see how like I don't see it being productive to like dunking on like say theocrats or like the flat earthers or creationists as well too, because like you're not going to convince them, you're not going to change their minds as well too, and definitely you can like at least take the arguments themselves and not necessarily talk about the person and then like prove how they're wrong and teach science in that way too, and that can be then beneficial and educational because it's always good to have like good science content out there as well too. But it's just like it's so many of those like atheists and new atheists or atheist YouTubers is like we're so focused on trying to like dish on like religious people as well too, and I don't know, so like which is why I think like those most like like the Amazing Atheists or like other people like that who was like when they were dunking on creationists they just like thought that was just old and decided to dunk on something else. really like PC, and Rebecca Wants is still awesome as well too. They
Mm-hmm.
only did not go down a bad path, and they largely stayed with like the progressive wave. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So yeah,
Progressive and science focused. Science and skepticism.
yes, exactly.
The Skeptic's Guide to the Universe. Um, they try to be apolitical. They don't acknowledge that everything is politics.
Yeah,
And they are mostly a bunch of white guys.
yeah, yeah.
So they have big blind spots there, but they're okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cara Santa Maria,
Mm-hmm.
who is also on the Skeptic's Guide. The Puzzle and the
He dated
Thunderstorm
Bill Maher one
guys
time.
are more and more socialist. So is Thomas Smith.
No,
Yeah.
I know. I think Carlo Santa Maria dated Bill Maher one time. I think.
20 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was gross then. It's still gross, and
Fuck Bill Maher.
yeah, he's a complete piece of shit. But
Mm-hmm.
she was in her mid-20s. He was in his mid-40s.
Mm-hmm.
It was gross and kind of abusive.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Bill Maher trying to like he's definitely like
He's a Republican. He
not
can
the
go
Bill.
fuck himself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's not 2005 Bill Maher. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a lot of good people out there. Obviously, they don't have reach or power or money. Because you
Yeah.
don't get reach or power or money being a good person. You get reach or power or money being Joe Rogan or Alex Jones.
Yeah.
Oh! You think we're smug? You think we're smug?
he no, but you're right. There are a lot of people that are like this bug like that. Thankfully I just never like if I watched Sam Harris is only because like, he was in like a compilation of like other like atheists like Neil deGrasse Tyson. If I don't remember his name, I
Neil
still
deGrasse
like him.
Tyson, Richard Dawkins, Chris Hitchens.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the big names. There was that period in the early aughts where you would have lots of conferences with big name atheists. There was the Skeptical Student Alliance
Mm-hmm.
had conferences, and they would get a lot of big names there. You know, P.Z. Myers, Sex Pest, Richard Carrier, but also
Yeah.
Rebecca
Watson.
Watson. Thank you. I mean, you get a lot of good, awesome people there. Greta, not Thunberg. Christina,
And
Greta
that's super.
Christina.
Okay.
So you got a lot of awesome people there and some not so awesome people there.
Alex Jules is like another awesome dude as well too, because he's just
but he doesn't show up anymore because David Smalley took his show to L.A. and turned it into a white piece of shit.
Yeah. But Alex Jules.
Into some people in now, and I said, "Do we have to empty the trash in there?" She said, "We just cleaned it up." She said, "How many people working today?" Well, I said,
I think we're hearing one of Isaiah's coworkers.
Yeah, Isaiah, like, can you get a loan or something like that, or move away from the conversation? Because like we're hearing that conversation as well.
Yeah.
But anyway,
There was a time that I actually did listen to Alex Jones, not religiously, but I was just curious what he had to say. This was like a long time ago.
yeah, there was like a podcast I listened to because like they did like a full audiobook reading of like What is Property by Pierre Joseph Proudhon, and it was like the skeptic like anarchist or something like that. But like they also were promoting this other like podcast that had like something skeptic as well too. I listened to the first episode, and then they mentioned listen to like InfoWars, and I was like, oh, now granted that was a 20-year-old like a podcast episode. So it's maybe like if they listen to infos from 20 years ago, but I just stopped listening at that point. It's just like, oh, you're telling me to listen to like InfoWars? Okay, delete. Because like
one of my passengers this past week asked me if I knew about Tom McDonald.
Tom McDonald?
A musician, a rap artist, a white guy, a white Trump supporting rap artist. So she played me some of his music, and all I said was, "That's not to my taste."
Yes.
I didn't call her a complete racist piece of shit and abandon her in a fucking parking lot.
Yeah. Well, we're at the 90-minute mark, but like,
So we are.
yeah. I do have like a plan for like a stream like later on today as well too, as I usually do like on like Sundays. It's not like I have it scheduled right now at 1:30 or something like that, but like I'm guessing that you don't have like Dungeons and Dragons like later today as well too.
Yeah, my dungeon master Kevin is the one who lives in the hills above Asheville, and he's not going to get power back for a couple weeks, so we're probably not going to play for a while. We've had bad luck because of ill health and power outages and so on these past few weeks. But
one thing to mention about that is because like this is like a hurricane that surprised a lot of people, and I think everyone that knows about like climate change is saying like climate change like exacerbated this hurricane for sure, caused like so much like monsoon and stuff like that, and it hit a place of high elevation. So like when people thinking like, oh, I'm gonna be fine from like climate change disaster because like I'm inland and I'm at like a very high altitude as well too, or decently high altitude, so I should be like fine. But I think this hurricane proves like I don't. That's not a safe bet, or not a sure bet as you think it is. And so, and especially for like mountain town as well too, is that like if the roads are flooded or like all the things like that, you're just like cut off. And so it can happen here. I had like an episode about like what to do and that sort of thing too, for like prepping, especially if you have to like skip town and quickly as well too. And they talk about like hand radios or like good devices that they have for like communications or too, so people can know, or any kind of rescue have to know where you are or if you need rescue as well too. So if you a disaster, oh yeah, and I probably should honestly read more about like mutual aid disaster relief too, because as an example of like anarchism in action as well too, mutual aid disaster relief is like something that like I should read up more on. And it's point to as examples like, listen, without a state, if the state breaks down, people still will do what's in their best interest and the best interest of the community and help each other out in and look at like how people respond to like disasters as well too. And it's definitely not the chaos mayhem that like right-wing media or other like media will like tell you it is, because like people do generally like want to help out their neighbors.
Here in Greenville, about 1 in 4 stoplights was still working.
Mm-hmm.
And people treated all the stoplights that weren't working like 4-way stops. Everybody just agreed that traffic has to function. And nobody told anyone this is how you have to do it. People just knew. If the traffic light isn't working, you come to a stop, let people make their turn, and then you go.
No, wait, we don't need governments to tell us these things. We can just figure this out from common sense.
Once we work it out, once we know how things work, people can work things out and make things work.
I mean, I do that all the time.
Except after the Clemson game last Saturday. The people leaving the Clemson game were assholes.
Those a few small group of assholes that ruined
a few thousand. There were about 30,000 people leaving that game.
And this is why I stay for like watching the roof at Safeco Field close or whatever kind of like.
I worked 11 hours that day. I made $400. It was a good day, but
yeah.
I was tired. I was falling asleep at the wheel by the time I got home.
Well, guys, I gotta run, but
we all gotta run. The show's over.
Yes.
Stay safe. Hydrate, medicate, keep yourself safe.
Don't forget charitylinks.page and charitylinks.page. I did include a card basically for like Helena aid, basically for.
It's like, not night, Mithril. God, it's afternoon. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Oh, shut up! Mithril's in the correct time zone, as like the British would say.
Yep, hydrate. Don't forget to masturbate.
Medicate,
yes.
masturbate. Yes.
Isaiah Taylor has like Instagram photos on Galactic Cosplay Crafts on Instagram. I'm
Mhm.
Summer Geek on all the social media as well too. Co-host, it's gone read only, so I can't post there anymore, and that site will go away by the end of the year. But still, Tumblr, Blue Sky, Threads, Twitter, and on Twitch and YouTube. And I'm finally gonna finish like the Democratic Party platform today. Yay! So it should take the whole stream of me reading it, even though the last chapter of it is foreign policy.
Oh, we support Israel.
Yeah. And Ukraine, which is important to support
Mhm.
Ukraine, I say. But yeah, so and after I finish that, I'm
Just
gonna
watched a couple of videos on L literacy on YouTube. ELLE literacy. One of the videos she recently did was on the difference in responses to Ukraine versus Israel when it came to the Met Gala and to Eurovision.
Oh,
People were allowed
yeah.
to be political about Ukraine, but not about Israel.
Yep.
Yeah. Hypocrisy much? That's
Little
why
bit. When it's
that's
our
why,
empire,
like,
it's okay.
yeah, that's why I will never visit Israel. Like it's a country that's
You
permanently
can't visit
taken off
Israel.
my.
Israel doesn't exist. There's only occupied Palestine.
Yep.
Okay, well, yeah. Well, either way, I'm not. I wouldn't be. I'm not going. So
Yep. All right.
it's a dog shit country. Anyway,
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Goodbye,
Stay safe,
everybody.
everyone. Bye bye.
And
bye.